Do you struggle with what to say to people? Run out of things to talk about? It's easier to fix than you think. Keep watching the video and Jay will teach you how to have a great conversation.
Okay, so 1, believe that there's an infinite amount of things to say, because there is. So if you got the belief, it's a good starting point. 2, believe that you're creative enough to come up with something, right? You're creative enough to choose something from the infinite options. And 3, practice, right? Have conversations, notice the awkward silence, and see if you can choose something from the infinite options of something to say. This is the basic process. You do this and you'll get better at it. It's kind of like, how do you get better at lifting weights? Put weight on the bar, move the weight, see how it goes, see if you can put more next time, see if you can adjust your form. That's the process. Do the reps. That's like someone lifting way too much weight for them or holding it wrong or whatever. Like, it's not great, but still better than nothing. And you'll learn something. Like, you'll learn, damn, that did not go over well, right? Like, people thought I was lying, or no one believed it, or like, now I lost a friend, or they stopped talking to me. It's okay. Like, the world won't end. You'll learn and get better at coming up with things to say. So whatever, that's the process, but there's an art to it. When you have an infinite amount of options of things to say on the face of the planet, you can say literally anything. Then you want to narrow it down and you want to choose something that's going to be relevant and interesting to whoever you're talking to. So if I'm talking to my dance friend, then I'll probably I'll try and relate things that I'm talking to back to their subject matter, back to what they're interested in. If they like dance costumes and fashion, I'll talk about that. If they like choreography, I'll talk about that. Or if I'm talking to like my jock friend, I'll probably relate things back to sports and competition and winning and victory and these kind of things. But dancers don't really care about winning and victory. Like, it's not off limits or anything, and you could definitely go there, but I'm saying, if you can talk about anything under the sun, you want to start with things you know are going to resonate, and you want to build up some conversational rapport. You want to build up some momentum, and as it's going well and vibing well, and they're liking what you're saying, you can sort of like try to branch out a little bit and try other things. If I'm talking to someone who's really hungry, I'm not going to be like, hey, we should discuss philosophy right now. Like, I'm going to be like, I know some good restaurants, or, do you want me to Google for you, or whatever, right? Like, there's something to say. If you're meeting a stranger at an airport, pay attention, be attentive. You can learn a lot about someone just from first impressions. Do they sit like a business person or a corporate person? Are they more casual? Are they wearing like a pin or a logo that's noteworthy? Like, find some common ground and realize that you can talk about literally anything. They're just sitting there, bored. If you comment on something they're wearing, there's a good chance they chose it purposefully, intentionally, when they woke up this morning for a reason, and they'd be thrilled with anyone who noticed or had something to say. If you notice their phone, their brand of phone or tech or MacBook or whatever, and whether you have a MacBook or don't, or like one or don't, like, you could still comment, like, hey, that looks really handy or portable in the airport. I kind of wish I had one, or whatever. Like, bam, you started a conversation. If that only goes so far and the conversation just dies, like, yes, it is a good MacBook. You could stop right there, or you could practice your find something to say skills, right? Like, okay, that didn't seem to work. Maybe discuss hairstyles, like, or they have they're wearing leather or something. And you can say like, oh, I heard there's a big vegan craze or save the animal craze lately. What do you think, or whatever? That's like asking, how can I have an awesome double layer wedding cake when I don't have flour in my kitchen, Like, huh? Like, that's the problem. You don't have flour. Like, you don't have confidence. You don't believe in yourself. You're not sure of yourself. You don't have any practice, and now you want to go navigate social conversation like a star and never run out of things to say. Like, you don't need to go on YouTube and find out how to talk to people. You need to become sure of yourself. You need to become confident. You need to value yourself and your self-worth and your esteem. Like, that's a whole other thing, man. If you don't have the right ingredients, you don't get the awesome result. And if you don't have the self-esteem and confidence and self-belief and self-worth, you don't get the awesome conversations and social interactions. And why would you? It makes zero sense. It doesn't mean you can't do it. Of course you can, but you just have to start further back. Like, it doesn't mean you can't build a cake, but you might have to go on a grocery shopping trip first. Sorry. So you might have to develop your confidence and look at some of our other videos and stuff. Like, the not talking to people is a symptom. The real problem is something deeper. I'll just assume that you do have the confidence and you believe in yourself, but you're still shy for some reason. And if that's the case, then like it's all about understanding that when people are gathered together, they're looking for conversation. People don't gather together for silence. Silence is the not valuable part. If you're giving silence during the gathering, that's the worst thing. Like, you've lost. Which isn't to say like there's no room for quiet people at gatherings or wallflowers or whatever, but no one's seeking out that person being like, man, super valuable. Man, they contribute. They were the best at the gathering, right? So the point is, whenever there's a meeting of people, a gathering of people, they're all looking for conversation. Conversation is the value. Like, say something, say anything. You're going to be more valuable. People will take notice. They'll focus on you. They'll engage on you. They'll pay attention to you. Now, if you don't want attention, then I'm not sure why you're associating with other people. Go to your room, then you will have no attention. Simple. But if you go to a social gathering, presumably you would like to interact with others and have the attention of others. So practice, say something. Silence is not valuable there. Contribution is valuable there. Connection is valuable there. Communication is valuable there. It's basic. So you're shy. Great, whatever. You went out to a gathering, or a gathering came to you, or somehow you found yourself in a gathering in life, and you have the choice and the opportunity to be valuable, contributing something, making an attempt, like everyone else is doing their best to communicate. You get to do the same, or to be a silent, like, observer, wallflower, who's not that valuable. And people will leave and they'll remember all the great conversations they had, and they won't remember you. When you're trying to start a cold conversation with someone, they're not warmed up, it's just two silent people meeting for the first time or whatever. So you ask questions. Questions are gentle. They're open invitations to the other person. It's very kind thing to do. If you bother to ask a decent question, it's like a gift to the other person to say, here, I'm interested in you. Please share what you have to say. But not all questions are created equal. Questions like, yo, are those real? Is not the same as, oh, I noticed your shirt says slay shame. That's a peculiar message. Is there like a story behind it? What's the deal? Where can I get it? The second question should generate way more conversation than the first one. The first one will get a yes, they're real, or no, plastic, and probably like someone walking away. You might even get a slap. The second question won't get a yes or no. It'll get a, oh, I'm so glad you noticed. Like, yeah, actually, this is a special shirt you can only order online, and actually I had it designed myself, etc., etc. If you still want one, I can try and hook you up. Are you serious? Like, and then, you know, you get a whole conversation. You're like, oh, you know, I was never really that into fashion, but it definitely caught my eye. Maybe it could be like a new move for me. Like, you guys start talking. Like, it's a question with way more value. It's a far more valuable question. And the first example is like a negative value question almost. I mean, I guess it's better than none, but point is, when conversation fails, when cold conversation fails and you're meeting a new person and it doesn't go well, it's usually because your questions were not good. And it's fine to admit that. That's why we practice. And it's like I've had times where I've asked questions that didn't really work and things went in a wrong direction, and that was that. Like, okay, my bad. You learn from that and your questions get better and better. I believe that every human has something interesting for me to dig for, right? I believe every human has something worth talking about, because they're all like, Honestly, I usually think they're all dumber than me, but I still care about them. And I still believe they have something worthwhile for me to play with, right? For me to discuss, for me to interact with. And so it doesn't matter who it is. If I'm bored in an airport or on a plane or at a family gathering, I'll figure out something to not be bored. I'll ask a question that gets some kind of juicy conversation going. And people will leave it thinking, man, what a great conversation. And so will I, because that's my entire intention. I'm not out there labeling these people. I don't think they're boring. I don't whatever. I just know we have to make the best of this time here together at this gathering. So God damn it, I'm going to ask a good question and I'm going to get a good conversation out of this person. And that's a strong, firm intention and belief that I know is doable. I can do it and I know you can do it. But one of us probably has a little more practice. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, know that there's infinite options to talk about under the sun. Know that you have worth and value and creativity to make that choice, to do something. And then practice starting your conversations, practice asking better questions, practice. That's really all you need, right? We've all been conversing since we were children, but there's a big difference between doing it on autopilot and doing it with conscious awareness and intention. And I don't know. I like my videos to be clear and concise. I feel like not running out of things to say is kind of a bad thing here. I wish I did. Hopefully it helped. And if you want to know more on this topic, get a little conversational coaching, check out the link in the description below for my private Facebook group. Peace.